Good morning,
Mosquito.
Periscope friends and family. I need some lipstick.
Should have done it like before you go live, but it's okay.
know.
People are very forgiving in Periscope.
Yeah, I just had my matcha tea. It was matcha
Okay,
tea,
I
not
was
matcha
like,
latte.
Where's the numbers? Like, it's not even coming up yet.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's connection? Thumbs up if you can hear us fine.
Yeah, let's see. So welcome, I'm Zora, and in case you guys don't know who I am, I study aging and longevity, and I've got a website called hackmyage.com. You can also find me on Instagram at hackmyage and Facebook. And
You're so good at just putting it out there and be like, follow me on the website. Hack my age is my thing.
But I have different content there.
I know.
And people love it. They're so grateful. I'm only doing it for you.
Hey guys, for Zora's people, if you haven't seen my face yet,
yeah, John and I are old Periscope buddies.
hey Carrie.
Actually, you're the one who got me into Periscope. Was it like 3 years ago now?
More than 3 years ago.
No way. When Periscope was first bought out by Twitter, that's when you told me about this. And Frank also, my husband Frank of franklyspeaking.com. And I'm reading the thing. So, yeah, he told me to do it, and I finally did it. And when I was living in Hong Kong, John was living in Hong Kong. John and I are also business partners. We both use the same platform to generate income online. So we spend a lot of time together, and he works with Frank too. So, anyways, John is my Periscope. Remember, we used to have, when we were in Hong Kong,
we used to have a Zoho show. Jesus.
That was really fun. So the Zoho.
What happened to the Zoho show?
We didn't hashtag the Zoho. Those Zoho
I know.
shows.
Hey Carrie.
Was it Zoho show?
Zoho.
Yeah, the Zoho show.
Yeah.
How many of you guys in either platform? Because we have this. You guys are looking at each other. We're both periscoping at the same time.
I'm jealous of your viewer numbers. You're skyrocketing.
Oh my gosh.
I have like 11 people.
Okay, guys, share now. So we beat John.
Periscope. This is what Periscope does to me now.
Hey Juan.
Speak one bad thing about them, they just like forget about you.
So John,
Byron, Jesus loves you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a lot of shows.
Hashtag Jesus saves, right?
Hey Ames. Sorry, you were gonna ask me something.
So yes, we're gonna talk. This is the Zoho show actually. It's we're reunited in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And I want to know how many of you guys who are watching now have seen the Zoho show. Give me a 1 if you have, a 2 if you haven't.
Ames has.
Ames is back.
Who are you guys and ladies?
Yes. So
this is the Chinese guy.
You just missed out the introduction, but I'm Zora. I study aging and longevity.
Paula. Hey, Paula.
And John is an ultimate Periscoper entrepreneur, and we're both also business partners using the same platform. And
Switzerland is watching.
Business. So yeah, that's what we do.
Cool.
And you love to travel. I love to travel.
Yes.
We're both health conscious, and
so today we want to talk about travel and safety.
Yes. Travel and safety. So actually, safety meaning both for your health as well as for your well-being, and just not get hurt on the road.
Yeah.
I want everybody to tell me, please plug in.
No Big Macs.
Where was the last place you traveled to? Give me an idea where you went. So we've been traveling a lot everywhere. So
I do not go to McDonald's. McDonald's is a no-no for me.
Asian longevity.
I'll eat bugs over McDonald's any day.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I will too.
It's
I had
protein,
a cricket
Osaka,
in Myanmar.
Did you like it, Ames?
Morocco, Bali, Osaka.
Grocery store.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Puerto Vallarta.
And so the reason why we picked this topic is because today Zora has traveled from Spain to Hong Kong.
I went Spain, Hong Kong, Myanmar.
And Hong Kong to Myanmar, and Myanmar to Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
So you've already hopped to 4 different countries?
Yeah, in like 3 weeks.
Yeah. I haven't been doing a lot of traveling because of my, firstborn situation.
Yes, John's a new dad. How old is Micah?
Yeah. You were hoping to run into Keizo. You don't hope. You make it happen, Ames. And so the baby is only 6-7 weeks old right now. So I've been grounded. Like I haven't.
First baby.
The last time I traveled was back to Hong Kong, and that doesn't count.
And that's Juan.
Hey, Yassine, how's it going? Yeah.
Juan is congratulating you.
Jonathan
JK. So Jonathan JK was part of Scope Team Hong Kong, and he's out there on John's platform.
Yeah.
So hi, Jonathan.
JJK, everyone has decided to move to Chiang Mai. I think you need to make up your mind.
Yeah, you got to come here.
There's nothing for you left in Hong Kong no more. Like Penguin 6 is gone. If people have seen Penguin 6 from Hong Kong, he's also a scoper, and he's in Washington right now.
So I want you guys to comment, please. Where do you want us to start in terms of travel and safety, or travel health? Right, want to see more Zora? How funny. So tell me, where would you like to start? And if you don't say it, we're going to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So yes.
But essentially, safety means a lot of things, right? It can be health. It can be like security, as in whether you will get robbed or whatever. It can also be just talking to people and all that, right?
Yeah. After all the news that I see on the TV, it's kind of scary, and you kind of think, gosh, there's bombs, there's terrorists, there's earthquakes, there's
plane crash in Indonesia yesterday.
Yeah. So Zora, show your guns. Show my guns. Actually, I haven't had breakfast yet.
So I don't know. Like, are you guys afraid of traveling because of so much news, or you guys don't really do much traveling to begin with, or you don't feel anything that the news would affect your decision when it comes to traveling or not?
Byron is asking, is it safer in police states?
It's safer in police. I would argue it's actually safer in police states. Like places like China, right? Mm-hmm. If you go to China, and I don't know if you've been to China, for me to go to China, I feel safer than going to, say, Barcelona.
I agree. As long as you don't carry drugs with you and you could get into jail and do something wrong.
Well, you're not supposed to break the law in the first place anyway,
Yeah. You have to make sure you don't break the law, and also that you don't get swindled into something. Imagine somebody trying to put drugs in your bag, and you have to leave.
Jonathan JK is a big advocate of anti-traveling because he is very concerned about carbon emissions.
Yeah,
it's his new thing.
I think the world would be a safer place. I think we'd have world peace if people just traveled a lot more. So, sorry, Jonathan. I think that's my take.
Yeah.
People need to travel
more. Screw
more.
the environment. Travel more.
Yeah.
That's our tagline.
After that, when there's world peace, then we can work on the environment. Okay. So yes, Tokyo is very safe. I think Chiang Mai is very safe. Thailand. Would you consider Thailand a police state?
No, it's a democratic. Well, it's supposed to be a democratic country, but the last election was almost 3-4 years ago, and they're supposed to have another election this February, which you never know. They might change their mind. So it's still run by the coup. But in terms of safety, right?
I think there are different grades
Thailand is one of the safest places in Southeast Asia.
Of police states when you think about that. Yes, you need to learn about the laws of the country you go to.
For sure.
Not only the laws, but you also need to learn the cultural habits and what would be offensive or not.
Right. Mm-hmm. So tip number one, I'll give you right now. Tip number one when you travel about safety, right? Understand the culture of each country that you plan to go. And it's very easy. Like, essentially what you need to do is go to Google and type cultural etiquette of any country. Fill in the blanks. Japan, Thailand, or anything. And what you will find out that you will go to these blogs and they will tell you what you should do or what you're not supposed to do when you visit a certain country. For example, you went to Burma.
Yes.
And what did you learn about cultural etiquette?
Let's see, I'm trying to think that was something that was very different because I've traveled a lot and I've already assimilated a lot of things, and nothing really surprises me.
I'll go first.
But the taking off shoes when you go inside of a room, that's one thing.
Or when you go into a temple.
Yeah.
Yes. My location is not off. Now, let's say if you go to Japan, right? People don't shake hands or people don't hug. If you're a European and if you go to Japan and if you want to express your friendliness, but at the same time be respectful, you're supposed to bow, right? So just because you do things, you do things the way you normally do doesn't mean it's okay to do it in another country, or people will receive it the same way that you think they will back at home.
Yes.
So you bow, right? In Japan, you bow.
Yeah.
And here in Thailand, you do the Y, which is hands close on the chest and your head tilts a little bit down to greet.
And say, Sawadee ka.
Yes. So that's called a Y. And that's how the people greet. Now, can you go and kiss on people's faces?
In Spain, that would be a thumbs up. Yes, you do
In
that.
Thailand, people will freeze up and be like, what are you trying to do to
In
me?
Hong Kong, too.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember when I first met you? I probably gave you a kiss on both cheeks, and you were probably like...
No, I didn't know it was one cheek or two cheeks.
Okay, it's two. Because you spent some time in the U.S.,
Yeah,
too. So
but in
you're
Spain,
not
people do one
totally-
cheek?
Two
cheeks.
In Switzerland, they do three. Russia,
Right.
they do three. And I know that, I think
That's
it's
wrong.
Lebanon. I can't remember which Arabic country they do like 15 or something. So I remember at the
Or
airport.
they do the nose rubbing or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
so
very interesting, yeah.
I think if you want, I mean, this
Too
is not a
comfortable
safety issue, but I think if you respect the place or the people you go to, you tend to be safer.
Yes. The general rule regarding physical touching in Asia, yes,
You
I
don't
would
touch.
say
Just
better.
don't.
It's safer not to touch.
Yeah. Shaking hands is as much as you can do.
Eric, you're gonna love Thailand. It's really great. One
Yeah.
thing I also learned what I did in Burma or Myanmar, I learned how to say hello, which is minglaba. That's the first thing I do when I go to a country. I try to learn hello, goodbye, thank you, and please. And what I did to somebody, I was like, oh, minglaba, minglaba. I did like the Thai thing, and they were like, no, we don't do that here. Used to
Oh,
kiss,
why?
not
Oh, in Thailand?
Yeah, no, in Myanmar.
Why?
They were like, no, that's a Thai thing. Like, we don't do
Oh, you
minglaba.
did the Y and this.
I did minglaba and I
And
did
you
this.
did the Y.
Yeah.
Ah.
Just because I thought this was an international, not because I thought it was Thailand. I just thought this was kind of an international, like, oh, hello, hello.
No, this in China would be, please give me some money. Or in Italian, it's like, shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. So, know your gestures.
Gestures, yeah. Actually, another thing I learned when I moved to Hong Kong, this is when I went to Japan for the first time. You got a bowl of rice, and if you stick your chopsticks right there in the middle, what does that mean?
That's actually how they put the incense in an ash tray for their ancestors.
Yeah. It's
So
kind
you're
of
not
a
supposed
sign
to
of
put your
death.
chopstick in a bowl of rice.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Perry, Yasmin asks, what Arabic countries have you been to? I've been to
Does Turkey
Morocco.
count? Turkey counts, right? Arabic country?
Yeah, it's Muslim. So yeah.
right?
I've been to Turkey, but only in the
Dubai?
airport.
I've been to Dubai.
You went to Dubai.
Yeah, but funny
you
enough,
did go to Dubai. I remember your Periscope.
Yeah,
on
but
that.
funny enough, even in Dubai and
Morocco, yeah.
Istanbul, like Muslim countries. Oh, and that's also very interesting, right? So we're talking about safety here, and of all the countries that I planned to travel or I traveled, right? I was actually quite freaked out when I had to go to Istanbul, Turkey,
Why?
because of the news.
I was in the airport when it was bombed.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys see that? Were you guys following me on Periscope?
I remember that.
I remember people. I
Yeah.
was there.
I went there a couple of years before you did. But even then, you keep hearing news about how dangerous and how many wars there are in the borders of Turkey. But when I went there, like most of the people, in fact, all the people that I've met are actually very friendly. So there's this perception of, one country not being safe. But in most cases, unless you're going into the wrong...
My general rule
Right.
when I travel to stay safe is I stay away from big crowds.
Right.
About safety, do you think or your experience alone is different than John's? In terms of safety, that's a good question, Paula.
Well, what's our differences? First of all, gender. You're a girl, I'm a guy.
Yeah, that would be different. I would probably tend to feel less safe than John, or maybe more vulnerable, maybe more of a target. But I generally stay away from the big crowds. If there's a big holiday and everybody's like, I stay away from that, just especially
Hey, Greg.
during high alerts. I subscribe to the American Embassy, so they'll send out
Really?
notifications. Yeah.
I don't even care about that.
Well, I register. Well, I don't know if I can do that anymore
Okay.
because I'm registered in Spain. I'm registered in Hong Kong, and I get all these these safety emails. Like there's high alert, red alert for terrorism.
It's like the
How's the safety in
rainstorm
Morocco?
signals in Hong Kong. I never pay attention to it.
Where are women most safe? I would say Singapore and Hong Kong. Like those are my top like women.
Japan.
And Japan. Like I lived in Hong Kong for almost 4 years.
Safe cultures for women. Most of Asian countries,
cultures.
except for Indonesia, because they're a big Muslim.
And India as well.
Yeah.
Be careful with India
Yeah.
as a woman.
Yeah. But even with as a foreigner, I don't think you would I mean, you have to
keep common sense. It's like you would in New York City. You don't go to the bad part of town where you might be more vulnerable or some place that's more dangerous. You know, do your research, read a little bit more about it. Ask people, don't walk by yourself in the street in dark at night. And you know, even though that's why I say in Hong Kong, I have walked to the streets alone at night. My 16-year-old daughter was doing 2 a.m. walking by herself at night, and nothing happens. Like there's like 7 violent deaths per year in Hong Kong, and that's usually from foreigners.
If you really want to travel to Asia, but you're slightly worried about safety, just try Hong Kong for starters, and you will feel safer than most of the places that you're from.
Morocco. Somebody asked, who was that, Overload, about the safety in Morocco. Australia, I haven't been to yet.
I've only been to Sydney, and it was only a 3-day trip. And I was in downtown most of the time. It was fine.
I think safety in Australia is very similar to the U.S. But the safety in Morocco, when I was there,
a lot of homeless people,
like 20 years ago, or like 19 years ago in Morocco, it was not safe for a woman to be walking by herself in Morocco. So, and even as a tourist at the time, my husband and I had to be accompanied by just some locals, like a local tour guide and stuff. They said it was just safer. I think it's like pickpocketing and stuff like that. But this is 19 years ago, so I'm not sure what it was. It was in Casablanca and Marrakesh.
Yeah.
So would you say Bangkok is a safe city for Americans? Yes. I was there during all the protests.
They love Americans.
Yeah.
They love Americans.
You know where they love Americans?
Because of the American dollar.
Yes, but I had never had so much praise for being an American as I did in South Korea. People were like, "You're amazing, and America's great, and the war." And I'm like, "Sorry, wasn't part of the war." Where have you encountered the friendliest people?
I'll tell you where I have.
Where?
Myanmar.
Yes, that's I agree.
Genuine and friendliest.
Yes,
like
yes.
Thailand is the land of smiles, but a lot of them are kind of fake smiles.
Really?
Yeah, it's a side story.
Now.
But I'm telling you, people in Myanmar, when they do something nice to you, they ask for nothing in return. And at first, you're really, really skeptical because you don't see any people in the other side of the world that's so friendly.
Huh.
And then, I have multiple experiences. And I told the story about how our guide, he's basically only a driver. And we were going through the temples in Bagan. And it was after rain, and
John is featured. How come you're featured with 16 and I've got 60?
I have less people.
That doesn't make any sense. Periscope? Why? Why? We're the same thing. Why are you featured and I'm not?
They need to balance the forces, Anyhow, so finally some numbers coming up, but
the political events in Myanmar are disappointing, though.
Yeah, but you have to understand, Myanmar is a big country, and a lot of the people don't have anything to do with the government or the conflicts, right? So when you go to the ground level and when you interact with normal folks, they're just very nice and genuine. And I've also done scopes in the city.
You know where else they're super friendly?
Where?
Bhutan.
Oh, I haven't been there.
You gotta go to Bhutan. Oh my God, it's amazing, amazing. I've never seen so many amazing people who are so kind and so nice.
Yeah?
And very safe, very good. I really like it. And
What's Bhutan like?
Bhutan is like Nepal, I guess. I imagine. I've never been to Nepal, but it's in the mountains. It's quite high altitude. People are. It's a closed country for many, many years, and only now they've opened it up. The problem is that you gotta they're choosing the kinds of tours they want by.
There's strange laws. You have to spend
$200 US per day. Although
per person.
Per person, and that's
not
part of your
much.
Your hotel room is taken care of. That.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been to Bali.
I was in Bali 5 years ago for my honeymoon. With my wife, obviously.
4 years ago?
Five and a half. Almost 6, in fact. And Bali was also very nice, very safe. And you have a lot of nice mountains and trails and all that. Nature. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Aussie author. One of the most interesting scopes. Well, John's pretty good, too, at making conversation. Beaches in Bali.
We actually have 2 screens here, in case you don't know. I'm using my own account and Zora is using her own account. So if you want to follow Zora on Periscope, it's just Zora, or it's Hack My Age on Twitter. Mine is John M Ho, JOHNMHO, and it's all
in the
Instagram,
description
Twitter,
of the tiles,
and Periscope.
Titles.
Okay, let's skip. Let's move on to food, because food safety is something also people care a lot.
Yes, that is definitely you have to see what kind of a gut do you have? What's your gut microbiome like? And that is,
I have a Chinese gut.
Yeah, and I have a gut steel, I have to say. I don't know, I've traveled all my life. Even when I was little, I kind of bring it back to my childhood when I would sit in the mud and play with dirt and probably eat it. I lived in Jakarta when I was 10 and Brazil when I was 7. I remember my mom telling me in Jakarta, don't eat that street food. And I would go
so
and I
Paula's like, careful with street food, and Paula's like more careful.
No, but when I go out, when I travel, I love street food, even though it's full of probably a bunch of bacteria that my gut is not used to, but I seem to handle it. Yeah. And I try to choose a little bit cleaner places, but again, I just ate a cricket in Myanmar, and who knows what kind of oil that was baked in. But I love to experiment and try and taste, and when I'm traveling.
I've traveled to more than a dozen countries over the past 3 years, being in Periscope, and I've eaten live octopus, bat meat, bugs,
crocodile.
I haven't tried crocodile because it wasn't, crickets, and all that kind of stuff. And none of the times I was actually food poisoned by them. I'm one of these, I think you and I are both really good at taking our vitamins, our supplementation. I take very often papaya enzymes. There's a lot of stuff I pick up at the health shop as well as just order online to get my gut real good. And I also have something I carry with me, and it's a digestive enzyme that helps with digesting a lot of shit that I'm probably eating. And I do it because I want to try. I want to experiment. When I'm at home, I'm really good, and it's organic, and it's grass-fed, and it's, all this But what
stuff.
about the other folks then?
So what I would recommend...
Sensitive stomach, sensitive gut.
Yeah, so that's why it's a very personal thing. One, you have to be careful what you eat, because if you are you very, very sensitive, then you got to be careful with the drinking water. If you are going to countries like India or even Myanmar, where the water hygiene is not really good, so you got to stay away from fresh vegetables and fresh fruit unless you can actually peel it, because it will be washed with this water, and maybe the fruit is good or the vegetable is good, but you will be contaminated by the water.
So I'm not saying you should do things like I do, because obviously we're different people, right? And you probably have a more sensitive gut than I do, because I'm just immune to anything.
Yeah.
But I guess my rule of thumb when it comes to food safety and traveling is that first of all, most places in Asia you can't drink water from the tap.
Yeah.
And I know this because I live in Asia, but apparently a lot of people don't know about this. Yeah. And when they open the tap in a hotel or anything, they just drink.
What's the deal with the reverse osmosis water machines on the street? Is that safe? Or is that kind of... I don't know if you could trust it.
I don't go there because I think those machines are not cleaned on a regular basis, but I might be wrong. I mean, so far nobody has reported any fatality incidents with drinking the water from those machines. But those are filtered water, right? But I think a rule of thumb when you travel is that if you're going to developing countries like... even including Thailand, right? So just to be safe, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, just buy bottled water to drink.
Yeah.
If you have to drink from the tap, just boil the water first, right? If you go to places like Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, these are actually very safe Asian countries, and most of the restaurants when they serve you water from the tap, they call it, but it's filtered already. Or even ice, it's not so much of an issue.
That's another thing. Yeah, if you go to a country where you have to be careful with the water, don't take ice. But in fact, you'd think a lot of Asians don't drink cold. So, but however, when they see a foreigner or a white person, then they would tend to serve you a cold drink, because that's what people usually ask for.
They put ice in their beer here.
Do they? Here in Thailand?
It's weird, but I got used to it.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, but so, I mean, avoid the ice if you're very sensitive. Buy water from 7-Eleven or, restaurants that comes in a bottle.
Take a good probiotic. And be very careful with the types of probiotics you take. Make sure you get a good strain. So that is something I always carry with me. My enzymes and my probiotics and my...
How about food choices?
Food choices. So again, that it depends on where you're at. If you're in India where the water may be questionable, then you want to stay away from fresh fruit and vegetables, which is really hard for me. You want to go for cooked things.
But I like to think India is a very exceptional place out of all the countries that one can visit. Like, I'm not concerned about anywhere when I go travel and eat.
Yeah.
But if I do go to India, that is a place that I will be very, very careful.
That's so true because when I went to India, I had a guide, and the first thing I do was eat the street food. Okay, so I love it. I love street food, but not one of the guides would let me. They said, we don't even eat the street food, so we will not let you eat the street food.
But only in India, right? Like, for me, if people come to Thailand and if they ask, how is the street food in Thailand? I would say it's 90% safe.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have is that against street food is that because the ingredients they buy, most of the time it's not the best cuts or it's not the best quality of the oil. So if you are health conscious and you don't want to eat too much processed meat or processed sauces and all that kind of stuff, then you want to avoid street food. But it's not to a point that it will kill you or it will get you into food poisoning. It's just more like, okay, this is the thing. Me and Zora, we travel like continuously. We do this all the time. And for us, it's about sustainable lifestyle. And so like if you go and eat street food in Singapore and Thailand and Vietnam, you're fine.
You're safe.
You're fine.
It's generally quite safe. Unless you're one of those people who have a very sensitive stomach, very sensitive gut, then you have to be a little bit more careful. I had a friend who went to Vietnam. Day one, they ate wet peanuts. I don't know why wet peanuts.
Steamed peanuts.
The steamed, and the whole family was sick for the whole 2 weeks. They couldn't eat. Yeah. They couldn't eat, and then we went on tour, and then we were taken to a peanut factory on day one, and I remember my friend going,
"Are they allergic to peanuts?"
No, they were just unlucky.
They're allergic to Asian peanuts.
You never know. So even though we're giving you this information, you could be just unlucky.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if I carry a pressure cooker to disinfect food.
What?
No, I don't do that. But I do carry a lot of other stuff with me. I got my mobile kitchen because I really like
Hong Kong is amazing.
To have all my nutrients and everything that I boost my immune system. I really take care of my gut while I travel so that I can go and do all this fun stuff.
So since you're in the topic of food safety and also like nutrients, right? So you have probiotics.
Probiotics.
What else do you do?
A good high quality multivitamin.
And what is that for in terms of food safety?
Because it keeps my immune system up and keeps it does help with the gut bacteria as well. It regulates acidity and all that. The digestive enzymes. I also love Duoline. Duoline is a product that both John and I are very familiar with, and it basically
is it safe to eat spicy
breaks down carbs and fats, because when I cook at home, I don't use a whole lot of fat, and I don't use a whole lot of carbs, sugars and sauces and salt and all that stuff. When I eat out and I go to the restaurants here, I can't ask for sauce on the side. It just doesn't happen very often in Asia. And so I get all this extra carbs and fats and things, oils. I have no idea what kind of oils are cooking this stuff in. So I need Duoline to
So for people who don't
that.
know what Duoline is, because it's the name of a product, it's basically a supplement that has extract from cactus fibers.
Yeah.
Right? So it helps... what do you call it?
It binds
the fat when you ingest it in the stomach.
The fats and the carbs, the sugars also.
Yeah, so you absorb less of it, and it's a product that Zora and I both take.
And if you want some, John can give you a good deal, or I can give you a good deal. We get it at wholesale. So
what I have is something called the reishi.
Duoline, Tinkerbell, Duoline. Duolean. You can Google that.
Yeah, so I have a product or an ingredient that I really like when I travel, which is reishi.
Oh, yes.
So the product name is called Reishi Max, but because of the brand that we distribute. But the active ingredient is actually from the mushroom, the black mushroom called reishi. R-E-I-S-H-I.
That's if you're in the U.S., you've heard of reishi mushroom for sure.
And it's getting more popular in the Western cultures. But the idea of me packing reishi, the pills, with me when I travel is that when I feel like I'm coming down with a cold or something, I would definitely like open a couple capsules and put it in my hot water and drink it as a flu medicine.
Yes.
Before I get sick.
Yeah, I take it usually 3 days before I travel. Then I take it all throughout the travel, and then I take it 3 or 4 days when I get back.
And so this is also something that I carry with me whenever I go travel, because the last thing you want to do is get sick.
Yeah.
And the good thing about reishi is, one, it's a natural ingredient. Second, it makes me feel better, like within a very, very short period. Let's say if I feel like I'm coming down with something, I go to sleep, I sleep a whole bunch, I drink a lot of water, I take a couple reishi. Usually within 24, 48 hours, I'm back.
But also you have to keep in mind the Reishi Max. This is the brand that both John and I use, and you can contact us for more details. It's got cracked spores, so it's not just a regular reishi mushroom. So that's something that obviously helps a lot. Yeah. And it's so it's got a very high concentration of the reishi. So when you guys, I've got to talk about supplement safety, because there's so much crap out there. You can't trust a lot of things. A lot of products have been pulled off the shelf in general, because when the FDA tests them, they don't actually have what's actually in there. So you got to make sure you go with a really good company and do your due diligence. Go investigate it and
ask a personal question. Yes, you can.
And King Vicky's asking a personal question. Let me see. По-русски не могу. Могу потом. So
by the way,
a Russian
Zora speaks
speaker wants to
Russian.
Speak.
If you want to ask any questions in Russian, you can also ask Zora. How many languages do you speak again?
I speak fluently. 6. 5 fluently, 6 is Cantonese. Интересно рассказывает.
Okay, so this is about food. Okay, so let's recap. If you're concerned and if you have a sensitive stomach, drink water only from bottle. Avoid ice.
Avoid vegetables that have been
uncooked.
Yeah.
Fruits are fine usually, right?
You can peel them, yeah.
Yeah, just don't eat it from a plate that's already cut open, or you don't know how long it's been sitting there, right? But in Japan, it's safe. Hong Kong, safe. Singapore, safe.
Yeah.
You know, and then pack some supplements that will help you with your gut probiotics.
Your
or
immune system.
Multivitamins, because it helps you with immune system. Reishi is a form of capsules that I take to boost my immune system when I travel as well.
And if you're concerned about body composition like me, and you don't want too many sugars and fats and carbs in your diet that you normally don't eat, then duoline is also another great one. That cactus extract.
Yes.
Reishi, R-E-S-H-I. How can your brain even contain all those languages? Actually, it's not a lot. You know, it's I'm a polyglot, but not a hyper polyglot. This usually speaks like 12 languages and more. But I'll get there. Wherever I go, I always learn the language. So when I come back to
Chiang Mai, I consider myself as Chinese. Of course I consider myself as Chinese. I'm going to
enroll myself in Thai classes.
Okay, so now last topic before we have to scope out money.
Budget, or but what is that?
Safety.
So how do you
when you spend money? Yeah, when you keep your money safe, how do you travel and spend? And what are the tips for that?
Je parle français.
There are some country with tourist traps. Paris with women who try to lure men into spend money. Well, that's because you're horny. Stop being horny.
That happens in all countries, by the way. It's not only...
Also in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charmant, merci. Okay, so money.
Yes.
I very often will put cash in different parts of my body when I carry some of it in my purse, some of it in my pocket. And I know I don't really do the belt.
Bras.
I never do that.
No?
You know, I just kind of space it out. But I don't, like when you're at the cash machine or something, getting out cash, you don't start counting your cash. You know, you just kind of, you know, do be discreet about it. Don't, you know, I don't want to flash money around where people can just kind of flip it around, take it out. The other thing actually you have to be careful with, I think, it's one of those things you don't really think about, but if you're on your phone, if you're in a country that steals mobile phones and you're kind of constantly on your phone, it's so easy for somebody to come in a motor scooter and just take that out of your hands. So
scoped
careful.
about while it was being attempted, him no less. Oh, I didn't know about that. What about cashless payments? Okay, so for me, right, this is something very weird. When I travel in Asia, I'm not conscious at all with my belongings. Like, I never worry about my phone, my wallet, my money when I'm in Asia.
Using just credit cards, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
I'm super conscious when I carry my belongings when I'm in Europe. especially traveling in Paris, Barcelona.
I am much more conscious.
That kind of stuff. So I'm super conscious, and there's a few things that I would do to just be careful about my like personal belongings.
Yeah.
First, I don't carry that much cash to begin with, and if I do, I also do something like what you do. I separate them. So I put a little bit in my backpack, a little bit in my suitcase, a little bit in my wallet, and a little bit, I don't know, like in a jacket or something. So just in case if I get snatched. So I never put all the money in one wallet.
Yeah.
So that's a way that you can
one,
do
not
it.
carry a lot, and then two, when you do separate it. The other thing for women in handbags, whenever I'm in Asia, I always put my handbag on the back of the chair. I don't really think I feel really, really safe. I know that it's no problem. When I am in Spain, my handbag is going right here on my lap. So I'll eat lunch like this.
Really?
Yeah.
Even at home?
It's really bad. Yeah, even at home.
Wow.
And because I live in I used to spend a lot of time in Marbella in the south, and it's a very touristy area. And there's just too many people I know whose handbags have been stolen off the chair, or even somebody just kind of goes and slips and takes out your thing. So always zips out and on your lap.
I like to keep my money fresh and smell good, so I don't put it in my socks. But I don't carry a lot of cash. Now, using credit card is also a very good idea because there's...
I love the credit card.
There's systems, right? If your credit card gets stolen and then people start like swiping transactions after it, then you can actually claim it, right?
Yeah. They'll stop. And in the moment you find out, you just stop the card and then, you're protected.
And so what I also do is, let's say if it's a long period of time that I'm traveling, I would only use my credit card, and it also has my ATM function in it, to get cash from the ATM machine when I need the cash. So what I do is I don't carry a lot of cash. I just get the money from the ATM. I'll pay the fee. Usually it's $3, $5, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I'll just get a bunch of money every week or so that I have a little bit of cash. People can steal those, right? Yeah. So even with credit card, I have 2 credit cards usually, minimum, and I put them in separate places as well.
Yeah.
I try to at least. Or if I'm traveling with my wife, not this one, but I have one wife.
Yeah, I have another wife. You have one wife and one new baby.
If we have 2 wallets, then I don't have to worry about it because I always have someone as a backup to use their credit card and get cash out of it. Yes, we're in Chiang Mai.
So you're going to Myanmar via Bhutan with credit cards and a bag of probiotics. Yes, Byron.
In Myanmar...
But the credit cards don't work so much.
Tricky situation in Myanmar.
Yeah.
You have to bring cash, and you have to bring only a couple currencies that they take to exchange to the Myanmar Chat. Chat is the currency in Burma, Myanmar. And so it's a very, very special country. They only exchange Chat with crisp, new, unfolded American dollars.
Reminds me of the Soviet Union when I used to
just
live there.
American dollars, or I don't know what's the other currency, euros maybe, right?
Yeah.
And if it's a dollar that's been marked or that's been folded, they won't take it, or they charge you a higher rate for it. And a lot of places also don't have credit card machines. So Burma is a tricky place to bring money or to spend money.
There was one question, last question, because then we got to go.
Okay.
Does Asia sell a GMO food or regular food?
You don't know most of the time.
Yeah, we don't know, and it depends probably where you're eating as well. There's a big difference between what you eat on the street and what you'd eat maybe in a hotel. Are there any countries that make you declare your medications upon entry? I've never had that.
Thailand is pretty strict with their the drug laws here, so there are certain medication that you might be prescribed in the States that are forbidden, like say Ambience. You're not supposed to bring Ambience into the country.
Ambience? What's that?
It's a sleeping pill.
Really?
Yeah, but it gets you
Where?
like...
In Thailand?
Yeah. So
But nobody ever asked me.
Ambient, not Ambience. Ambient.
So, but that's strange because I never saw it on the,
No,
on the declaration form.
So if you don't get checked, you're fine. But if you...
Is it on the declaration form?
Yeah, you can't bring Ambient because it has an ingredient in it.
Didn't notice
Well,
that.
that was good.
Okay, guys, I think we're gonna have to wrap up.
Oh, okay.
So you've got diabetes, hypertension medications.
That's fine.
Yes, you should be.
Yeah.
You're generally okay.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for joining me. Thanks, John, for your time as well. Thank you, my Periscope family and John's Periscope family, for your time. If you have any questions that we talked about here, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me. You can find me on Periscope at Zora, or anywhere online on internet at Hack My Age, because I study aging and longevity, and I teach people how to age slower. And that's very, very interesting for a lot of people. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook and my website. John, you can find him at so many other places too.
Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, John M. Ho, JOHNMHO. I'm based in Chiang Mai right now. I also distribute anti-aging products, but I usually talk more about travel and Asian cultures and all that in my channel.
Yeah.
I love Russia, the country. I don't know, I've never been there.
Russia is I had fun in Russia. I lived there for 7 years. So.
Hey Angie, why are you in Zora's channel, not on mine?
she bumped over. I saw her on your channel. So hey Angie.
Yasin also did the same.
So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Really, really excited. I'm really happy to get back to Zoho show, and I'll be back in Chiang Mai for more. So if you guys have
coming
questions,
back soon?
Yeah, I think I'll be back next year. I'll be back.
So we can do it at a less rushy place.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Mwah. Bye.